Today, we're going to talk to you about the 5 reasons you might not be landing a job interview after a career break. So reason number 1 is you're applying indiscriminately.
I would just like to appeal to anyone who's doing that from the perspective of someone who's had to look at those resumes. Please don't do that. It makes so much more work for the recruiting or staff or the hiring manager, and it just dilutes things for everybody else. So what you need to do is understand who you are, understand the skills and experiences that you bring, kind of your brand, and then do the research to figure out where you're going to fit best and where there's a demand for what you're doing. And this kind of introductory work is essential for making sure that when you are looked at by a recruiter or a hiring manager, they say, you know what, Kelley is a fit for this job. She is someone I want to see in an interview.
Right. You know, that throwing spaghetti at the wall.
See what sticks. It's not going to work for you.
Yeah. So that brings us to number 2, which is you're pursuing the wrong jobs. So what happens here? Give an example.
It can kind of go 2 ways, kind of 2 extreme ways. So let's take the example of a marketing professional who's been out of the workplace for 12 years and had left at a mid-management level and is now looking at where there's great demand. There's great demand for marketing analytics jobs.
Right.
So she says, well, you know what? I know marketing really well, and I was really analytical. I'm going to apply for those jobs. But she's not qualified for those jobs unless she's really put some time in to get licensure, training, and accreditation. And most people haven't done that. So she's applying for something where she's just not qualified.
Right.
We see even more often than that, the marketing manager who says, you know what? I've been out for 10 years and no one's going to hire me, so I'm going to apply for a marketing associate job. But that's not going to work either, because as a hiring manager, I'm going to see you're a marketing manager.
Yeah.
You're not going to want this job. You're going to take this job and stay here for 6 months and leave. So in either case, the hiring manager, the recruiter, whoever is screening your application or resume is going to say, I'm not bringing you in for an interview.
Right. Here's another place where people get hung up, and that is your resume doesn't tell your whole story. You have a whole story that happened during those gap years, and it needs to be told.
And we see it, it falls kind of in 2 categories again. Either the person who leaves the gaping hole.
Yes.
So I haven't worked since 2005, but I'm going to hope you don't notice that, right? Well, I'm going to notice it. But the other thing is someone who might put something a little catchy in there, like career pause, mom breaks, CEO mom, domestic engineer, and that doesn't work either. Give yourself credit. You have done things. We both took career breaks. We did things that were skill developing and career enhancing during our breaks as volunteers, as part-time workers, as helpers for our spouses or our families' companies. You need to take stock of those things and make sure they are reflected on your resume. We like to say, connect the dots. Show us what you've done. Show us that thread.
Yes, we actually have a 3-part series that you can click on in our channel to learn more about that and how to do that and do it really well. All right, number 5, your LinkedIn page doesn't stand out. LinkedIn is the way of the world, right?
Everyone will look at your LinkedIn. In fact, I would argue that more people will spend more time looking at your LinkedIn than your paper resume, because it's a little more dynamic. It
is more exciting.
It is. Yeah. It has to stand out. And it's a great opportunity. It's like, to use your word, it's this great playground, and so many of you aren't using it properly. So, and some of you may not even have a LinkedIn page, so know that you must have one, but it has to stand out. So that means it has a good picture of you, a current picture of you, a banner at the top that's kind of eye-catching, endorsements at the bottom with people talking about you, an about section that tells your story in a nice narrative, interesting, personal way.
Yeah, it brings you to life, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, and number 5 is where people get hung up the most, and so listen closely. You're only using the ATS. What is an ATS?
An ATS is an applicant tracking system. And if you're applying online, whether that be through a job board like Indeed or Monster, or through LinkedIn, or through a company website, your application is being tracked digitally. And it is a no man's land. Now, a couple things. First of all, don't assume that because a job is posted on Indeed that it's only there. Most of the time, the job that's posted on Indeed is posted on all those other sources that I've mentioned. They're all aggregate sites, so they all have the same jobs. You're not going to game the system that way. But you're doing yourself such a disservice if that's the only way you apply, because mathematically, it does not work. Only about 20% of Americans land their job by applying through one of those job boards.
Right.
Now, that includes all the people whose resumes have no gaps.
Mhm.
They have no skill limits. They have had a very conventional career trajectory. So as a hiring manager or as a robot, I can see, oh, yes, they know how to do this job. And you're not that person, which is why you're talking to us.
Right.
So your chances are maybe 1 in 10.
Yeah.
Is that where you want to spend your time?
No, it's not. You want to spend your time networking.
Exactly.
And connecting with the people that know you and can get you in front of that hiring manager. So if you liked what you heard today, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that alert button, and you will get our content that comes out every week. You can also learn more about our Prepare to Launch You courses on our website at www.preparetolaunchu.com. Thanks for being here today. We hope to see you again soon.